For 4 years, La Vida had been our special retreat. The gentle glow of the lights, the aroma of fresh basil wafting through the air, and the soft murmur of intimate conversations all around. It was our haven, the place we chose for anniversaries, celebrated job milestones, and shared quiet moments away from the rush of the world. So that evening, when I stepped inside to grab some takeout for a peaceful night at home, I never imagined what I'd see. There she was, my wife, seated near the window laughing, not alone. With another man. I froze. Maybe I was mistaken. Perhaps it was someone else. But then I heard it, her laugh, the way she played with her hair, that flirty little giggle I knew so well. It was her. No doubt. Then I looked at him. He wasn't just anyone. He was younger, sharply dressed, and clearly too relaxed for someone meeting her for the first time. He leaned in close, murmured something, and she burst out laughing, the kind of laughter I hadn't heard from her in what felt like forever. My stomach tightened, but my legs moved before I could stop them. Instead of turning around and walking away, I headed straight for the host's stand. "Good evening, sir. How many in your party?" the host asked. I glanced toward the table, then turned back. "3. He looked confused. "I believe your wife is already seated." "Just bring me a chair," I replied calmly. The host hesitated, picking up on the shift in energy, but nodded. "Right away, sir." As I approached their table, the laughter stopped. She saw me, her eyes widened, panic flashing across her face. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" she asked, her fingers trembling as she reached for her wine glass. I sat down in the chair the host had brought over. "I was about to ask you the same thing." The man, her companion, shifted in his seat, clearly uncomfortable. He looked to her for direction, then glanced back at me, unsure. "And you are?" I asked him, my tone unnervingly steady. She hesitated, but he answered, "I'm Alex." "That's it? No last name? No backstory? Just Alex." "Nice to meet you, Alex," I said, offering a tight, controlled smile. "So, how do you two know each other?" Her hands clenched around her napkin. "Ethan, this isn't the place." "No, I think this is exactly the place," I cut in. I looked around the room. "You always said this restaurant meant something to us. All those memories. Let's make one more tonight." She shut her eyes briefly, as if wishing the moment away. Alex, either brave or foolish, cleared his throat. "I didn't realize she was married." "Liar." His pause, the way he avoided eye contact, it gave him away. He knew. Maybe not everything, but enough. "She has a habit of leaving out the crucial parts," I said coldly. Just then, the waiter returned and set a third menu in front of me. "Can I get you started with a drink?" I leaned back in my chair and exhaled slowly. "Whiskey." "Neat." Silence followed. She stared at her lap. Alex fiddled nervously with his napkin. The silence was heavy, thick with unspoken words. But I wasn't going to break it. Not first. I wanted to see what she would say. After a long pause, she finally whispered, "Ethan, can we talk alone?" "Talk about what?" I said. "That you're here having dinner with someone else while I sat at home waiting? That you lied about staying late at the office? Or maybe that you brought him here, to our place?" Her lower lip trembled. "I didn't mean for you to find out like this." "Then how did you plan on telling me?" I asked. "Or were you ever going to tell me?" Her silence gave me all the answers I needed. The whiskey arrived, and I drank it all in a single, deliberate swallow. It burned going down, but not nearly as much as the truth beginning to settle deep inside my chest. I turned slowly to Alex. "Tell me something, Alex. Did you enjoy the meal? Was the food to your liking?" He looked nervously at my wife before turning back to me, unsure of how to respond. Yeah. Yeah, it was good." "Perfect," I said, placing the empty glass down with a gentle clink. "Because that's the last dinner you'll ever share with her." I got to my feet, pulled my wallet from my pocket, and dropped a crisp $100 bill onto the table, far more than necessary. "Call it a farewell gift," I added, locking eyes with my wife. Her eyes filled with tears, but I felt nothing. Not anymore. Without another word, I walked out, leaving her and the man she betrayed me with behind, seated at what used to be our favorite spot. Outside, the cold air struck me like a slap across the face, but even that couldn't dull the ache rooted inside my chest. Maybe nothing ever would. I stood on the sidewalk for a long moment, eyes fixed on the distant city lights, hands curled tightly into fists. I wanted to be furious. I should have been. But underneath all the rage, the shame, the hollowing sense of betrayal, something worse was buried. I'd made my exit, said my piece, walked away. But now what? Go home. Return to the place where her scent still clung to the sheets, Her clothes still hung in the closet, her shoes lined up by the door like nothing had changed. Every corner of that house still held the echoes of her lies. I wasn't ready to go back to that. So I walked. I didn't know where I was headed. Maybe I was just trying to leave the pain behind me, even though deep down, I knew it followed with every step. I kept seeing them together in my mind. The way she laughed. How she leaned toward him. The softness in her eyes when she looked at him. Had she looked at me like that recently? Had she looked at me like that at all? I ended up at a bar a few blocks away. The kind of place where no one asked questions, where the lighting was dim and the whiskey came fast. I ordered another glass, but this time I didn't rush it. I didn't want to forget. No, I wanted to remember. I needed to feel this, to let the pain etch itself into my memory so I'd never fall into this kind of trust again. Halfway through the drink, my phone vibrated. I looked at the screen. Paused. Debated. Then it buzzed again. A message. Ethan, please. Talk to me. I flipped the phone face down on the bar. I wasn't ready. Maybe I never would be. But fate wasn't finished. Because just minutes later, the bar's door creaked open. And there she was. She saw me instantly. Her eyes red, mascara smudged, face drawn tight with desperation and regret. She didn't move at first. Maybe she thought I'd get up and leave again. But I stayed seated. And so she took a tentative step forward. Ethan, can we talk? I said nothing. Just brought the glass to my lips and took another sip, letting the silence swell thick between us. Finally, she sighed and slid onto the stool beside me. Please. I let out a short breath, met her eyes for the first time since the restaurant. Talk. She looked down, fingers fidgeting on the edge of the bar. I didn't want you to find out that way, she murmured. Oh, I said bitterly, so you did want me to find out, just when it was convenient for you, right? She winced but didn't argue. How long? I asked, voice low but firm. She swallowed. A few months. I let out a cold, humorless laugh, shaking my head. Months. Right. I don't know what I'd expected. But hearing it out loud still twisted the knife deeper. You chose to betray me again and again, I said. Why? That question came out softer. Almost broken. She hesitated, and for a moment I thought I saw it in her eyes. Guilt, maybe even remorse. I don't know, she whispered. My voice rose, sharp this time. You don't just wake up one morning and decide to destroy your marriage. So stop lying, tell me the truth, Sarah.